back with our we're recording 17th episode now.
Right. Episode 17.
And I said, start recording now, because Yvonne's going to start crying. Because we were discussing, like, what we wanted to talk about today, and we're talking about learning to trust ourselves again.
Right.
And something that Yvonne said to me yesterday, and I was like, I didn't even realize that I was actually doing that, but I was. And she's like, stop doing that, girl. Stop dimming your light. As the Germans say.
The Germans say, don't put your lamp under the table. And so it's because, if your lamp's under the table, obviously nobody can see it. You need to put it out there and
stop dimming your light.
Exactly. Stop with the negative self-talk. Stop doubting yourself.
Yes. And then so I was like, okay, that's a perfect start to like how we were after what happened to us, also our upbringing, religious mothers,
right.
Like learning to trust our own selves again, our own instincts, our own ways of like, and I still doubt myself. I'm still like, because of like the way I let like how can I say that? Like, I have two daughters. One of them, and I'm not gonna say one is difficult and one is not, because like one day if my younger daughter would listen to this, mm-hmm. They're just totally two different people, which
right.
is what you want. You don't want the same person.
Right, we're not cloning.
even twins maybe they do look the same, but identical twins look the same, but they also have different characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
They have
two different personalities.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, what works for my oldest daughter doesn't work for my youngest daughter, and I see so much of myself in my youngest daughter,
mm-hmm.
and I can't do things in how I did it with my older daughter.
Right.
And I know that I get backlash from my ex-husband, and I get backlash from her teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll feel like it's not my job to teach her. It's my job to be her mother.
Right.
I'm not a teacher. I didn't go to school to be a teacher. And
mm-hmm.
why do I have to convince my daughter to go to school? Why can't you be a good teacher that my daughter wants to come to school?
Right. That's
just my opinion, my thoughts on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I know that and also sometimes this is a podcast that I listen to. We go through scenarios in our minds that don't even have like.
Right.
We blow things
probably will never ever come true.
Well, no, we blow things out of proportion.
Yeah.
Like, we make up a story in our mind, and we're like, okay, this person yelled at me at work because your work colleague,
right?
And you're like, well, maybe she's having a bad day, and you try not to take it personally, but at the end of the day, you're just kind of like, well, why are you bitching at me though?
Right.
Why am I getting all the fucking backlash from you? And you're fucking on your period. I don't know. You're having a bad day, or you're bipolar. I don't know.
Right. Right.
And then, like, before I would probably, and this isn't just, up recently. It's been, like, what, maybe 3-4 years now? I'm being, like, going on the 4th year where I've just been, like, rewiring my brain.
Right.
Thinking positive thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And learning that it's in our everyday, our music we listen to, the TV
mm-hmm.
shows we watch.
Right.
Anything, it brings a negative influence on us.
Yeah.
That's instead of saying certain phrases that we always say, like, I can't do that. No, I haven't learned that yet.
Right.
Because and that's just way better than I can't do that. No, I can't do that. Like,
right.
I don't know. Like, I haven't learned that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you're fucking stupid. You don't know that. Well, I'm sorry, but I just started here. How am I supposed to know that? Like,
right.
Like, for example, when you're at work or something,
right.
Like, you need to fucking know that? Like, bro, I just started yesterday. How the fuck am I supposed to know that?
Right.
I just learned this yesterday. I just,
Right.
I've been working here for fucking 3 weeks. What the fuck,
Yeah. And
calm your tits.
Calm your tits. Calm your tits down. That's my saying. Exactly.
Your mom said that to me yesterday in a voice message, and I laughed my ass off. And she's like, calm your fucking tits down. And I'm like, I just love that saying. Calm them down.
Yeah, calm them down.
Calm them down.
Smooth out there.
I can't calm them up because they're down all the time.
That would be nice if you could. But anyway, that's another topic. Yeah, but I understand that because I'm going through a lot of that right now. Being new at my job, I told you yesterday, I had somebody, and I had to cancel something on the cash register, and I did it like one time before, and so this was like the second time, and I was like, fuck, where was that again? Because everything's all digital, and even if my manager said to me, even if you memorize the mask, it changes. Like if there's an update or something, and it'll be like left or instead of right or whatever. So I couldn't figure out how to get rid of, how to cancel out the one extra item that had scanned twice, right? So, and the lady was like, just cancel it. And I was like, well, I would if I knew how, but and she's like, and she was getting hectic, and so I just said, in a nice tone of voice, give me a minute. I'm new. I've only done this once before. I'll get it in a minute. I just need a minute to figure it out. And then I couldn't figure it out, and I ended up calling my colleague and saying, hey, can you help me out real quick, and then she was like, oh yeah, it's here. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, now I got it, right? But yeah, I don't, in manifesting this job for myself, I also manifested, or I do this every night before I go to bed. I manifest every night, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and I'm going to learn the job. And I don't expect, which is new for me, I do not expect myself to know everything overnight. Because before, I always put pressure on myself, like, why don't you know this? Why don't you done this already? You already did this once. You already did this once. Why don't you know this already?
Yeah.
I'm done with that. That chapter of my life has closed, I'm not stupid. I know I'm not stupid.
Well, that's what
learning is a process of repetition. Like, what is the saying in German? Practicing creates a master of this trade, right? Übung macht der Meister.
Übung macht der Meister, yeah.
Right? So what is that? And it doesn't, the saying is not, oh, everybody was born knowing how to do this. It was, you have to repeatedly practice this so that way you learn it. And in practicing and repeating it constantly, that is how you master this, whatever it is. Right?
That really ties into thinking positive, because we've been thinking negative for our whole lives, that it's hard. It's hard. No, it's not. It just takes a while to master, to practice.
You have to rewire your brain.
You have to rewire it to think positively,
definitely.
And so instead of saying, I can't do that, like, I haven't learned that yet. That's just an example. I mean, there's other things like manifestation with money, manifestation with like, I'm broke, and you keep saying that all the time.
You're gonna stay broke, of course.
You're gonna stay, instead of saying, I have the money, but I need to use it elsewhere right now.
Right.
It's about your wording.
Right.
So I always say, like, somebody like, can you go out to dinner? Well, I have the money, but I actually need to use that elsewhere right now. Or it doesn't really fit into even saying a budget.
Right.
Cheap, expensive. Those are all, it doesn't fit in for right now.
Right.
And you always say, I have the money, but it needs to go towards groceries,
Right.
It's just a matter of wording it and saying it differently, because there's so many people out there, and I see TikToks, talking about being broke and not having enough money, and everything's so expensive and shit's going down, gas and whatever, know. Right. And I'm like, that's all negative.
Yeah. Yeah, they mentioned TikTok. So there's this one TikTok lady I follow. You've seen her comment on my posts a couple times. And she went to the hairdresser last week.
Is it, which one?
Jen?
Her name's the same as mine.
Right, it's the same as yours, Jen.
But mine's just Jen.
Right.
With 2 N's. No,
yeah. And she's from England, I think. Anyway.
She seems really nice.
Yeah, she does seem really nice. But so she went to the hairdresser last week, and she was really excited because she hadn't been to the hairdresser in a while. and she was getting highlights, and she had a picture of what she wanted, and it was like some kind of, I don't know, I'm not a hairdresser, but I would say like balayage or ombre or something
okay.
like that with like the blonde in it and stuff, and it looked really pretty. And so she went to the hairdresser, and it did not turn out how she wanted, and she was really nervous going to the hairdresser. And so she went back and said this was not what she wanted. She was really nervous. But she was like, no, this is not what I wanted. I should, speak up for myself. And so she did that. And so, anyway, long story short, she ended up getting a new appointment for today. The manager's going to do her hair instead of the girl that did her hair. And this morning she posted a video, she's going to the hairdresser today. She doesn't have any kind of like really nervous feeling and then she said, I think I manifested that the appointment was going to go bad because I kept saying I was really nervous and I hadn't been, and I wasn't sure. And she was like, so today I'm going to manifest it's going to come out the way that I want it to. And I thought, dude, that's it. Like it's like what we say constantly is what's happening, because we're constantly saying that. And what you constantly hear, I'll relate this back to our childhood.
Yeah.
What you constantly heard, I always heard as a child, I was stupid, I was worthless, I was never good enough. And so that's what I grew up believing, because that's what I constantly heard. And that's what I have to rewire in my brain. That's why my mantras are, I am good enough. I am smart enough. I can do this. I will learn this, And I also saw, there's another lady also on TikTok, which is also on Insta, Julie, the Coventry witch. And she made a video, I think it was yesterday it came out on Insta, or it came out on my feed on Insta, you know how it is with the algorithms, right? And she said, stop wishing for things. Start saying out loud what you want. The universe needs to hear you. She's like, it's all good to think these nice things, but you need to say them out loud because you need to hear them. And I thought, again, spot on. It's what we keep saying. Like you said, you keep saying all these people, I'm broke, I'm this, and that, and the other, whatever. No, dude, you need to be positive. You have to say what you want. And I mean, I'm realistic about it, if I want to be a millionaire, then I need to start saying I want to be a millionaire, and I need to start, looking and doing at things so I become a millionaire. I mean, I want to be a millionaire, but
why? Why? Because you just said something, I want to be a millionaire, but retracted and said, but I won't.
No,
of course you will.
I don't want to be. I don't want to be a millionaire. I am happy with what I have now, and I don't want to be a millionaire because the more money you have, the more problems you have.
That's your that's your what's the word I'm looking for? Denkweise. That's your thought. So your train of thought is millionaires have problems.
Okay, I don't want to pay any more taxes. How's that? I pay enough taxes as it is.
They need to go to Switzerland. You have like a half a foot in the door with your husband being like working to drink. But that's like one of the things is just like, so that's your thought, a negative thought. Millionaires have problems.
Yeah.
But they don't.
Yeah, they do. Of course they do. They're people just like we are, and they have just as many problems as we do, if not more, because they have to pay more taxes, because people are always after their money. You know what I mean?
But you can turn that around and
look at how many people win the lottery, and all of a sudden they got fucking relatives coming out the damn woodwork.
Sometimes they win the lottery and then they blow it all in like a year. Like I've heard people that.
Yeah,
but
that too.
You can manifest that though and turn it around and say, I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm not going to have any problems.
Right.
Because nobody's going to fucking know I'm a millionaire.
But there'll be signs. Right?
Exactly. I love those ones though.
Like,
I'm not going to tell anybody.
I'm not going to tell you, but there'll be signs.
But there'll be signs.
I'll have like an extra motorcycle in the garage. We'll have a boat parked out front.
And you could win the lottery. You don't have to change your lifestyle a little bit. Yeah, I'd invest all that money in like stocks and funds, help my family. You know what I mean? I mean,
Right.
it's like I'm not gonna hoard all that money because who needs $52 million?
Right.
You know, I could definitely live off $1 million in my life, but fuck yeah,
Right.
I want to be a millionaire. Fuck yeah, I don't want to have to worry about like, you know, there's fucking. If I could fucking have $1 million in my fucking bank account, and being able to invest that, buy a fucking, you know, and just be able to live life and even go on, you can go work a part-time job, something you really like.
I work a part-time job.
I know, but like I'm just saying, like you could go be like, I want to fucking work with animals at an animal shelter.
Yeah.
And you still like, so like I think a lot of people think I'm gonna get $1 million, I'm gonna win the lottery, and they change their lifestyle completely, and they just go fucking going crazy and spending money like fucking like, you know, like they've never had it, which is probably, you know, and that's just like the thing too. They become a different person. That's true. They're just like totally like I just won the lottery and I won $14 million. I don't know who, you know, it's a large ass sum of money.
Right.
Dude, I'd start fucking scholarships and was it like Stiftungen scholarships.
Right.
Fun. I would honestly give a lot of that money what I got back into the, you know, community and back into the earth or whatever you want to say, you know, because billionaires who fucking needs that much money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is that they said, you know, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, you know, but like more I think it's like Elon Musk could spend so much money a month and still be, you know what I mean? Like motherfucker. But then again, a lot of their money's tied up in stocks or whatever the fuck it is, you know. Anyways, yeah, like
Space
but
programs.
I understand what you mean. Like, you know, you want to be a millionaire, but you don't want to have the problems.
Yeah, I don't want the problems.
But like,
and I don't want to pay taxes.
That's just something. You know what's like? It's something that what's a quote or something like? What inevitable in life is death and taxes.
Yeah.
That's just never gonna change.
No.
So yeah, of course, the more money you make, the more taxes you have to fucking unless you're a fucking millionaire in America, because somehow I don't fucking know why they don't have to pay taxes. Yeah. I mean they do, but they don't. Somehow they get the fuck out of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Start a fucking church. And then
there you go.
They don't have to pay taxes either.
With my luck, I'd be one of the ones that come after, you know, for for tax evasion.
But
they'd be like, we're not putting you in no floofy jail, you know. You're gonna be in a real jail. You'll be in a real state penitentiary. Yeah.
So we wanted to actually kind of also touch on what we call that, and if somebody would ask me what I am, I would say I'm a witch.
Right.
And that's something she also wanted to talk about today, which for a lot of people they're like a witch and they think I'm fucking got my pointy hat on and my broom and
I have a cowboy hat.
My fucking long nose with the wart, but you know, like this
long fingernails. No, we don't have no long fingernails.
But a lot of what I started being able to do, how I am right now with manifestation and positive thinking, and it all ties back to when I started doing like oracle cards, crystals, incense, you know, candles, have an altar, like just things like that, has really helped me become the person who I am today, like as being, and I'm not gonna say like I credit it all to me, like I did it all by myself, you know. There were people along the way who helped me, but like there's a lady on TikTok who I follow. Her name's Anastasia. She calls herself the Manifestation Doll. I could only recommend, like, she does money spells and things like that, which I can't, unfortunately can't get because I don't have a credit card. So like she teaches in a lot of ways of like, instead of saying I'm broke, say, you know, I have the money, I just need to use it elsewhere. She's like, treat yourself. A lot of people be like, "Oh, I have an extra $10," and she's like, don't put yourself in a bind. Don't go into debt. Treating yourself. But it's like if you have an extra $10, go and treat yourself. Get a coffee.
Yeah.
Go and get a manicure. If you have like, I have $20 extra in my, I need to keep it. She just teaches you ways to help you. And she's the one, she says, every time you see me, you'll come into some money.
Right.
And she pops up on that screen, and that's what she says. And she'll see, like, and then now she'll be like, every time you see me, you'll what? And then I'll be like, come into some money. And I honestly love that, because there has been times where they're like, oh, you got some money. I'm like, where'd that come from? $200.
Right. I was just gonna ask you, did you see that video before you got that
I
money?
see her almost every day.
Okay.
And they'll be like, I'll
crazy.
be like, bam, so, got the money back from my daughter's braces. This is out of the blue, 200, an anonymous donor,
Right.
I got €200. And that's also, it doesn't, abundance and getting, like, manifestation of abundance doesn't necessarily have to do with money.
Right.
We went to the MyMart. Some dude just gave us his tickets. He's like, well, we wanted to go back in, but we decided not to. You want our tickets? I'm like, fuck yeah, that's abundance. That's like, but there's also like, maybe there's somebody I think this happens more in America than it does here in Germany, and they pay it forward. And you're in the drive-thru, and you're like, I'd like to pay for that person's. Or
I've never seen anybody do that here.
If they do it, probably in a bigger city, but like, pay for somebody's groceries.
Yeah.
I don't pay for their groceries, and these people are like crying fucking tears and shit. Like, I'm just like, that's awesome. Like, but like, it's just things like that, This, even if you find a fucking penny on the floor, you're like, thanks, you're a fucking penny, you're like, it's a start of being thankful.
Right.
So like, you're being grateful also, going to bed every night and being grateful for the roof over your head, for the gas in your car, for anything. I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that.
Right.
Because they say, like, you also once prayed or wished or manifested what you have now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to be grateful and thankful right now for what you have.
Yeah, definitely.
And
yeah, I think people that, regardless of what it is they come into, they often forget, maybe not right away, but down the line, they forget to be grateful for what it was. And it doesn't matter if you believe in God, or if you're spiritual like we are, if you're a witch or whatever. It came from somewhere, and it doesn't often really matter where it came from. I think for me, the point is to be grateful for it. Like, for us, we believe in the energy in the universe, and like with candles and burning things, and I always give it back to the universe when I burn something, if it's a piece of paper or whatever. And like with the flowers the other day that I told you, I was compelled I went for a walk, I was compelled to pick these wild flowers, and they were just like random wild flowers, and I was like, oh, that's pretty, and oh, that's pretty, and oh, that's pretty, and then, before you knew it, I had like 5 or 6 wild flowers in my hand, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take them home, put them on my altar. And I was walking by these trees, and I kept looking at the stumps, like the stump, where the roots of the tree were.
Stumps?
Yeah. Was it
tree stumps?
The tree stumps, right? I mean, the base of the tree. It wasn't, because the tree was still there. And then all of a sudden, I was compelled to just put the flowers down at the base of this tree and leave it there. No idea why, but my inside kept telling me, put the flowers down there. And I was like, well, I want to take them on my altar. But my inside was like, no, put the flowers down. And I was like, all right, I'm going to leave the flowers now. And then I laughed when you said, oh, you had to leave them for the fairies, right? And then yesterday when I walked by, they were gone. And I was like, what the fuck? Wait, was this the right tree? Because they're not like a whole bunch of trees next to each other, right? And I'm like, no, they're really gone. I was like, okay. Something needed those flowers, maybe it was an animal, maybe it was the fairies, who knows,
Yeah. But so that's also tying back into being a witch, and I guess therefore I don't want to say lack for better words, but like being a witch isn't what people think, and that's why I'm just trying to be like let's bring a little bit of awareness to the people of what a
Right.
witch actually means, and it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean like riding your
Right.
broom and whatever, and
Yeah,
putting spells
we're
on
not
people.
cooking stuff in a cauldron with,
Yeah.
frogs
No, no,
and
no.
mugwort
Yeah, there you
and,
go. I mean, I'm not gonna say that they're
skull of my enemy,
there. I'm pretty sure that there are witches out there like that.
I'm sure they are, but I mean, I read something a couple weeks ago about witchcraft in your kitchen. Like when you cook, I mean, we have intentions when we cook, and um, we don't always say them out loud. Like for example, your loved one is sick and you make them chicken soup.
There you go.
The intention is for them to take this in and feel better. It's a healing. And why? Because we all know chicken soup has an enzyme in it, right? It helps you get better faster, blah blah blah. But we don't say the intention out loud, like. And she was like, when you're stirring, you should be stirring, clockwise to bring in the prosperity, to bring in the healing, right? And she was like, so why don't you just say what you want to do with this meal, like if it's chicken soup, for example, making this to heal, blah blah blah, whatever, or you're making a regular meal, just the family to be together and have a good time, enjoy each other's company, whatever. And I thought, that why do we not do that? And I think that's something that women got away from, because a lot of the witches in folklore used to do that, right? They would be making food, they would be stirring something in the pot constantly, and they would have intentions. The men were off to war, the men were coming back from war, the village next door was, getting ready to go to war with them or whatever, so everybody would be protected and, whatnot. And women got away from that because men came in and started calling the women witches, I think all women back then, and we're talking about like 1700s, maybe even before then, had some sort of craft.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we had to. I mean,
because nobody else had. It was like you were saying before we started recording. So women had a craft. They were healers, right? And how did they heal?
With herbs.
Herbs, all the plants from outside. They knew which herb was for what. I mean, they burned sage and rosemary, and why? Why was like the end of April you had Walpurgisnacht, right? This tradition came from, they would create a huge bonfire and they would force all the animals through the smoke from the bonfire to cleanse them, parasites, ticks, fleas, whatever, and the people would go through this smoke too and get cleansed. Why? But then back then it was looked at as, it was a ritual that the community did, and then somebody started, it's sorcery. The witches were flying on their broomsticks to the top of the hill and taking over the fires, and it's like I told you, I wish we could fly on broomsticks, man. It's fucking awesome,
Well, this is one of the things what you had told me, why witches also had brooms. It was to clean,
sweep out
the bad energy.
Exactly.
Sweep it, right?
You sweep the dirt out, you sweep the bad energy out.
And that's why witches, we always say in quotation marks, because that's what we were then called, witches back in, like after we're witches and burned at the stake because we did sorcery. How could you possibly know that, whatever.
Right. I often think, because I've been drawn to the craft way before I even knew about the craft.
Yeah.
Right. Like I told you about, like, living at Fort Hood and making my own candles, and my mom was like, "Oh my God, is she a witch?" Or Yeah, or my abuela,
Sí,
right? My
abuela.
grandma,
An egg,
the egg cleanses, and dame un huevo, um, yeah, but where was I going with this? So I've been drawn to or I felt like I've been drawn to the craft long before I even realized that
Yeah.
I had it in me, so to speak, Um, but I also was always drawn to not only the candles, the the incense burning, and I've always been drawn to rosemary, the frankincense, and sage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so when I started kind of looking into more and more my spirituality and like burning sage and um, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe that's why I'm so drawn to it, because it's a cleansing, and this cleansing goes back in the whatever it was 14, 15,
Oh,
1600s
you mean with
where
the smoke, with the
yeah, where they
bonfire
would
smoke?
yeah, the
Yeah.
bonfire smoke,
So
and the women would throw like sage and rosemary and
yeah.
depending on what was already out at that time, because at the end of April it's not yet fully spring, right? So there's only certain herbs that are out already, like rosemary, sage being among them, right? I think thyme is also out, um, but I don't know, like the what's it called in English? The Zitronenmelisse?
I don't even know what that's called in
Yeah, I don't know. It's some kind of lemony leaf.
lemon mint.
Yeah, I don't know.
Citronella
But I don't know if
melissa.
I don't know if that was out yet.
Mm-hmm.
But like whatever was out, they would like cut it and dry it, and then they would throw it in the bonfire. So
Mm-hmm.
the smoke was cleansing the animals and the people also.
But for the specific reason.
Right.
For ticks, for parasites, things like that. You're like what? But like.
Well, and they also believed in negative energy.
Well, yeah,
you
but
know?
I think it was just like a combination of both. But if you
Right.
don't know that, and they were just like, yeah, there was, fucking bonfire, fire, witches, fire, bonfires. We're dancing
We're
around.
dancing around them naked under the moonlight.
Yeah, we're just cleansing ourselves with the smoke and getting a better energy. You know what I mean? Like, it
Right.
was a purpose for the bonfire. It wasn't just to fucking, because we're witches and we do
witchy stuff.
and we do witchy shit and fucking have a bonfire and we dance
Right.
around naked on the bonfire. Like, it, if you didn't know that, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's why I'm just saying, like, we just got, like, put, like, a label.
Right. We got a bad rap, man.
Fire, what's that thing called again? What you say? When you're cooking in
in the cauldron.
Thank you. Cauldron. What was that other one? Mortar. That thing
mortar.
with a mortar. Like a murder?
Yeah.
Mortar.
You need a mortar.
Cauldron.
The cauldron.
And
when you think about it, back in the day, all they had were these big ass cauldrons under a fire. So, like, what the fuck were they supposed to cook in? I mean, pots and pans didn't come around until when?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
1900 something or another.
Sometime way after
way after then, and then too, like the witch trials, they were a bunch of fucking bullshit because they would tie women to a chair and then put her underwater and if she would drown, then she was a witch because she couldn't hold her breath. Like, what the fuck, or like like me, I have a lot of like moles and birthmarks, and I'm like, then I must be a witch because that was also one of the signs that you were a witch because you had moles and birthmarks and whatnot, right? Yeah, just crazy.
Well, yeah, but that's just because, like, hey, a lot of people had moles and birthmarks, so men had them. Pretty sure they had them too, but
sure they did too. But for some reason, there was yeah.
But that just all came about going even back to one of our podcasts about women being suppressed. Exactly. That started back in the day, dude. Exactly. And so that came about. The men did all that because they say witches were healers.
Right.
We healed people with herbs. And we did a very damn good job of it too. And then, even back in the days, the modern medicine, medicine came out.
Right.
And that's why that's why the pharmaceutical fucking industry is like the way it is. Because
Right.
that fucking started back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about here in Germany, we have healthcare.
Right.
What do they pay for? Medicine.
Yeah.
What they don't pay for? Chiropractor.
Right.
Like national.
Natural.
Thank you. Natural remedies.
Mm-hmm.
Things that are from nature.
Right.
And also, when you think about that too, medicine is medicine. When you take a medicine, it's like bam, it works. And I'm not gonna say there's not medicine that's good. Insulin,
Right.
antibiotics. There's medicine that we do need if something happens.
Right.
I'm happy we have that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only for like if you do need it.
Right.
You have an ear infection. Here's some antibiotics. Like
Right.
that's what it's like. But like going. I don't even know what that's called in English. Chiropractica.
I don't either. I
Herb remedy person and if you do
a natural healer. I don't know.
so you go to one. I have a friend, she did like so, and she's also like I'm
gonna Google it.
you do it if you're gonna start taking natural remedies, stuff from the earth,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a little bit longer. It's not gonna work right away. Your body's gonna have to get used to it, but when it does and it starts kicking in,
Alternative practitioner.
there you go. So you have an alternative.
We would have never figured that out by ourselves.
An alternative to modern medicine.
Right. Right.
But they don't pay for that here.
Right. No, it's all.
You have to pay for it
paid.
yourself, unless you
Mm-hmm.
have an extra insurance for it, and they cover some of it. So you
Right.
can also get one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to go on that route and you don't want to take any medicine, which so my surgery, and the doctor was like, well, you could take medicine. I was like, no, that's off the table for me. I'm not taking medicine. I'm not putting shit in my body that I don't, no,
Right.
I want the fucking surgery.
Right.
Let me just put something like, foreign in my body. That's good. But
Right.
like it's something.
That's the same as my my hormone replacement therapy, right?
Yeah.
It's all natural from plants. The insurance doesn't pay for that, not one dime. But if soon as I elect to take something synthetic,
They pay for
they
it.
pay for it.
Yeah. It's $1 billion industry, and
Yeah.
it started back in the day because they saw that women were healing people with herbs and remedies and chicken soup, whatever,
Right.
and being able to deliver babies, so that's where they're like, okay, they're witches.
Yeah.
Let's burn them at the stake.
Mm-hmm.
And do you understand like how that even started to where everybody started believing that?
Right.
Oh God, that's a witch.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were a person where you're like, that's who I am, that's what I do, you were scared for your fucking life, hiding, and then you're going out and hiding in the forest because
Right.
you don't want to fucking die.
Exactly.
So where do witches go? Why they say, oh, the witches are in the forest, in a cottage in the forest. Yeah, because we're fucking running from the fucking village.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't want to fucking die, because we're natural healers and we use herbs in the earth and whatever,
Right.
we
Right.
and now we're witches and we're gonna die because we
Yeah, well, I watched a documentary. I think I told you about it. It was about like the Salem witch trials,
mm-hmm.
and so this documentary went back to how they came about and whatnot. So I mean, it goes on about like there was a couple of what were they called, the pilgrims that came over. What the hell were they called? They weren't Catholic. They weren't Protestant. They weren't.
Evangelisch, Lutheran.
No, I don't know what the fuck.
I know what you. They were.
Anyway, whatever the hell they were, there was this one big pastor, in this whatever religion was, and somehow he came about the idea that women were witches, and so he got some other men in the church together, right? And then started preaching about this, and started talking about how was it possible that there was a black slave, how could she have apparently there was like a baby that was turned, and she turned it in the womb and delivered it, and there was no problems because she was a midwife, right? So how could that be? It was she had a pact with the devil, and that's how it came out, and blah blah blah. And so anyway, so they ended up gathering this group of women that they thought were witches, And they told the women after they like tortured them and whatnot, if you just admit it, we'll let you go.
Mm-hmm.
And so what did the women do?
They
They
admitted it,
admitted it, you know?
and they fucking got burned.
And then they got burned at the stake or hung or, you know, stoned to death, whatever, you know? So, and that's where this whole witch trial then started, you know, from this one man, his last name is Mather. Not Ichabus. He has some kind of weird first name. Anyway, his last name was Mather.
Ingeborg.
And and he has some kind of weird first name. But so that's how this all started. It all started, and so that's why there's a show on I think it's on Disney Plus that I told you about, Salem.
Salem. Mm-hmm.
And the storyline is actually the true how the witch trials actually started. And there's actually this dude Mather and his son, and you know the black slave lady is in there too. And
okay.
I mean, of course, it's not like the actual. It's of course there's like made up shit in the because it's a series from I don't know Hulu or whatever. But I just thought it was interesting that they used the actual names from these people. You know. Yeah, so I was like, I was like, so fucking typical men, you know, or typical narcissistic men, you know. You just do this and everything will be all good. You know, you do what I want and everything's going to be just fine. And so they did that, and what happened? They ended up fucking,
No, they
dying.
still got.
They died horrible deaths.
Because they admitted it that they were witches.
Right. And they only did it because they were told, if you admit it, we'll stop torturing you, we'll let you go, everything will be fine, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So.
That's just a little backstory about.
Yeah, exactly. A little backstory about how the witch trial started there in Salem.
Or like how it just came about to where even now today you'd be like. The video I sent you, and like I love TikTok, and I love it because you can do your own algorithm to what you see on TikTok. And for me, it's pretty much a lot of like manifestation, witchy stuff, and funny shit, dude. Like, she's like how I respond to Jehovah's Witnesses coming to my door.
Yes, I love that.
And then lady came to the door, and then she's like, "I'm sorry, but I'm a witch," and they're like, "Oh, okay." And then
I'm like, "Oh my god."
How I'm gonna respond when somebody comes to my door and tries to give me a pamphlet? Well, the only people who do come to the door are the Jehovah's Witnesses, anyways. I don't see no Catholic priest coming to my door. But like, then it'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm a witch. I'm a hexe," like in German. It'd be like, "Sorry, bye bye. I'm a witch." Oh, okay, bye.
I'll open the door with some sage burning.
Also read somewhere if the doorbell rings, put your coat on. So you're either coming home or leaving, depending on who's at the door. You know, like if you don't want to talk to somebody, "Oh, sorry, I'm just leaving," or somebody's, "Oh, I just got home. Come on in." And I was like, dude, that's a good one too. The doorbell rings and you're like, "Fuck, who is it?" "Sorry, bro, gotta go." You just hop in your car.
That's a bad thing at your apartment is that you don't know who's fucking ringing the doorbell, man.
I don't have a. Well, that's why I need to just put a jacket on and in the summer, I don't know, grab your keys to the car.
Right.
"Sorry, I was just heading out. You'll have to call me next time. You can't just stop by unannounced." Yeah, but I thought that was really funny.
That's a good thing here. I can see who's in front of at the front door.
I mean,
even though I don't have a problem slamming the door in somebody's face, man. I have no issues with that.
I don't need to. I'll just be like, "No, thank you." I mean, if they're gonna,
I'm just be like, "No, bye." Close the door.
Yeah, just no, thank you. That's so funny. But I also think, my hair. Sorry. I also think we touched base or talked about on one of the other podcasts too about like our instincts. Mm-hmm. Where you were like, the like a bad juju on somebody or stuff like that. Like
I had that this morning, listening to my instincts, and I told you I've always had a very strong gut feeling, and I didn't always listened to it up until recently. It's been a couple of years now. Like this morning, I went to go get my new sunglasses, and my plan was to ride the motorcycle. And when I got up this morning, my gut said, "Go with the car.
Uh-huh.
Go with the car." And I was like, "Ugh, but I really wanted to ride the motorcycle. The weather's nice." And my 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 gut said the entire time, "Go with the car." So I went with the car. And who knows? Maybe it was because of that idiot that I told you about on the way home. Was passing everybody in the curb and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe something would have happened. I don't know. I didn't see anything along the way. Nothing happened, thankfully. But yeah,
Dude, I've heard.
I would rather listen to my gut
Yeah.
and nothing happens than not.
I heard somebody like you know, I'm gonna say witchy stuff, but like thinking like if you're going to leave your house and you drop your keys, don't go. Like or if you were going to leave and you spill the coffee all over, it's and you're upset about it, like fuck him later. That's just the universe helping you because there might have been an accident.
Right.
If I would, haven't you ever been like, dude, if I would have been like
5 minutes earlier,
or even
something?
5 seconds, I've been
Right.
into where like, dude, if I would have been at least like that would have been me in that accident that happened, or along the autobahn, where I think we had a car problem, and like up at the road they had like some sort of massive car pile up or something that we weren't in because our car stalled out, and
Right.
you had to call we don't have AAA here, but
Right.
the car service to come help us. But further along the road there was some really bad accident.
Right.
It's like, and it's frustrating, of course. You're like, fuck, like I'm already late as it is,
right?
But
Right.
like then you sop up the coffee or whatever it is that spilled, or you spilled something on yourself. You have to change. So
Right.
that's just because you needed to wait a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like like I said, like, the solitary witch, right, on Facebook, and she was talking about, and I always call it my sixth sense, because we only have 5 sense,
Right.
but I always call it my the sixth sense, the movie where I see dead people. I don't see dead people.
I was gonna say.
I don't do that, but I always I will be like, yep, that's it, and I always like, and it's me not being negative, it's just being like, I know. I just knew that I had applied for the job, the gym in Heppenheim, and I was like, nope, I didn't get it. And it wasn't trying to be negative. What? I wasn't trying to be negative. What? What's going on? You hear shit? Okay. I wasn't trying to be negative. I was just like, I was trying to be like negative, like, oh, I didn't get the job, but it was just like, nope. I knew it was something that was just like, you didn't get the job, and I'm okay with that. I'm actually, so this is also one of the things that's helped me too, like in being spiritual and knowing that that's not where I was supposed to be. That's not my path to go. I would probably be really upset because I didn't get the job, and I was just like, yeah, like that's not where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to go down and do something different, which
Right.
then, what I was thinking of, going to school to be a physical therapist.
Right.
And, well, now I get an email, like, it's, I'm not quite sure if my high school diploma is good, or I'm not sure. I got, like, so now I'm kind of like, well, now because of that email, I'm like, I don't know. At the end of this, if it doesn't work out, I'm not saying it doesn't go, and I'm not trying to manifest that it won't, but like, then I'm like, okay, then this is not where my journey is supposed to go. I don't know. This is something that I wanted to do, but I also don't have any other, right now, I don't have any other plan in my head. Like, if this doesn't end up working out, like,
Right.
Then, so I want to go work with animals at the Frankfurter Zoo. I don't know.
There you go.
So anyways, yeah, that's just like where I was just like, yeah, no, that it didn't work. I just have that like, I'm like, nope, that's not it, or that's and I know it in my deepest of deepest freaking, and I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Right.
You can't tell me otherwise. So that's my what's called my sixth sense.
Right.
Comes in sometimes, and it's like bam, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, okay, cool, that's
Yeah.
it, and can't like convince me otherwise that it's not.
Otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you have like, maybe you should bring your umbrella. And it's
Yeah.
not raining at all, but you said,
Right.
like, and then you bring your umbrella, and lo and behold,
Right.
out of like nowhere, it
Out
starts
of the
raining.
blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, got my umbrella. It's just things like that. Like,
Right. I used to not listen to my gut, and then we'd be somewhere, and I'd be like, "Damn, my gut told me to pack a fucking umbrella. Why didn't I listen?" So that's why.
I'd be curious though too, like, cause you wanted to ride your motorcycle and you didn't, like, I mean, maybe sometimes we don't know why. We never
Right.
find out, Sometimes we do find out why, and
Right.
other times it's like,
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't know.
cause it didn't like rain or anything.
No.
It was nice weather.
No. I mean, even if it would have rained, it wouldn't have bothered me.
Yeah. But the rain
so I
is.
don't mind riding in rain, but I don't know. I just, and the whole thing was because I was planning on riding through Merlenbach, the Juhera, to Heppenheim, and my gut was like, no, 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 and I was like, okay, then. Okay, so that's why I drove with a car, and
That's good. That's what I was thinking about if I do have my class tonight, then I should drive the other down to the U-Haul. If I have
I think it's faster.
Yeah, it is faster from here, from Mordenbach. But if you live in Mordenbach or like that way,
right?
So it's also faster for me to do the BA38, like, because I live in Rimbach. And I don't want to fucking go through Mordenbach through the traffic. But
it doesn't make any sense. It makes more sense for you to go through. You go down through Kirchhausen, right?
Yeah. No.
So.
But that's just also a little bit of touching up on just say like, I'm a witch, and then people what their what their thoughts about that are.
Right.
And they're like negative.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what that entails.
Yeah, I know. People have asked me like what my necklace is, right? And I told this one lady, it was in one of my rehab classes. I was like, well, some people say it's a witch's knot, and some people say it's the Trinity. And she was like, oh God, let's hope it's not that. Let's hope it's the Trinity. Let's hope it's the Trinity. And I was like, why? What's wrong if it's a witch's knot? No, 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 no. She's like, and I was like, oh my. And she's an older lady, and I was like, okay, I didn't get into it with her, but I'm like,
I wonder if that's why I never really felt it didn't matter what religion I tried to, like, test the waters, put your foot in, try it out, because you did that too,
right?
Like, where I never felt like that was what it was it. That's where because I always was just like, I don't fucking want people telling me what to do. Like
that's one of the reasons that I could never be a Wiccan.
You told me that too, but
because Wiccans are very, you have to do blah 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 blah. You can't just say so let it be. You have to say so mote it be, and all this other shit. And I'm like, I'll say whatever the fuck I want to say. I mean, if I do a ritual and I blow out the candle and I'll say, it will be because I fucking said so.
Yeah.
And that's usually what I say. It's gonna be because I fucking said so.
Yeah.
But that's not a part of a Wiccan ritual.
And that's why then I probably.
And I'm like, that's why I said I could never be a Wiccan. I like my witch's knot. I don't wear a pentacle, even though I don't have any problems with pentacles. They don't bother me. I like them. I don't consider them signs of Satan or because I know what the symbol means, right? But that's just me, and Wiccans are very, no, you have to wear a pentacle. You have to wear a pentacle. No, I want to wear a witch's knot,
So that's just kind of part of like a witch religion.
It is. It is a witch religion,
And like, I'm
to do certain things, and you have to have the witch's Sabbath, and no, dude.
I'm just
like, I do what I want, when I want, when I feel like it. It's like with my tarot reading, right? I mean, I haven't been doing it that long, but I don't do it every day. I do it when I wake up in the morning and I feel like, oh, I want to pull a card today. You know, I don't ask the same question every day. I don't have like some people are like, oh, it's Monday you have to ask this question, Tuesday you have to ask that. No, I ask what I feel like
Yeah,
asking.
yeah.
You know,
It's like
yeah,
I mean, there's certain things, of course, like if you want to like charge your crystals, you need to do it in the full moon.
right. You need to do,
Then there
yeah,
are
of course. I mean, there
certain
are
things.
certain things, but I mean that's not And if I miss a full moon, then that was on me.
Mm-hmm.
I missed the full moon,
Yeah.
and I just have to, figure out another way to charge my crystals,
Yeah.
or
I mean,
cleansing them every once
yeah,
in a while,
yeah, yeah. That's a good idea. I
Right.
just had because of my dream that I had yesterday.
Right.
That was just like really like um I haven't been remembering my dreams lately, but that
I
dream was
haven't
like
either.
that was like three crystals, but the one that stuck out was the obsidian, and I wanted to save that one so bad. But it was also there's different obsidian, and
Right.
it was the obsidian with
Obsidian.
obsidian, sorry, obsidian with the speckles in it.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that was that one. I'm gonna go get one.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crystal shop's open today in Fahrenbach.
Oh yeah.
It's Thursday.
Thursday.
Last Thursday was like a holiday, and I wanted to go.
Yeah. Maybe you won't have your class. We can go later.
Yeah, I wanna go get one. What I know is that and that's another thing, like crystals. And you asked Mr. Chat like about crystals, and he's like, that's the placebo effect. If you believe, then and I'm like, but that's just the whole thing of manifestation too. If you believe, then that's going to be it.
Right.
They have that.
I don't know. I mean, there are certain crystals that have different energy charges in them. Like, what was it? I think I sent you. Didn't I send you the video on Insta where this one dude was talking about? And I can't remember what the crystal was. It's a white crystal, and when you press it, it creates electricity.
Yeah, but
So he was like,
then
if
a
you
lighter.
would make like, yeah, exactly. It's the crystal that's in a lighter, right?
Mhm.
It creates a spark. And so he was like, if you press it together, you have this electricity. So it would be really cool to like, make like sidewalks or something out of this, and then people are walking and they're creating electricity. And that's not the only crystal that has electricity. So I don't know. I think the charge that they put out, it's the same. Like I've talked to you about this before. If you have like cold water and you blow into the cold water, it calms your nervous system down, because when you're blowing into the cold water, it releases positively charged ions.
Oh, that's a science. It's a
But
yeah.
I'm a witch.
Exactly. But that's just also things
know?
like that where you're saying, okay, but that's witchcraft.
Right.
Which you're like, but that's science.
It's science.
That's not
exactly.
witchcraft. That's fucking a proven thing that when you do that, you release these ions when you
Or it's
blow.
the same like when like we like to walk barefoot on grass or on the ground, right? What's happening there? Your negative ions are being drawn into the earth, and
You're
it's
grounding.
releasing.
You're
Exactly,
being
you're
grounded.
grounding, and it's
Yeah.
releasing positive ions.
Yeah.
And your body is soaking up these positive ions. That's science again.
Yeah.
But
They also have there's a guy, and I can't remember his name, but like this, I'm gonna say the sleep doctor, but that's something different. But there's actually things that you can buy, you can plug in, that you can ground yourself for these, because that's
right. It releases the
yeah. Because let's say in the winter, somebody can't get out there. You can if you want. You can freeze your fucking frostbite on your but but you like this one of the and I don't know if that's because I have always loved walking outside barefoot, always since I was little.
Right.
Love walking outside barefoot. We were actually because we were evolved from monkeys, so our feet are like this, but they should actually be apart. The toes. Our shoes squish our toes together. And I don't know if it's some guy, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, who the fuck knows, social media somewhere, where a guy stopped wearing shoes and his toes started going like this, where he could actually climb trees with his feet, because
he can grab again.
Monkey's feet, so like
right.
so in Is
I
it
do an exercise in my rehab class where we
to grab a?
with the try to grab the tennis ball with your toes, and they're like, I can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, it's because we've forgotten how. We could do it when we were babies or little kids, you know.
I always try to pick up shit with my toes.
I do too.
Like if there's like,
I'm like,
drop something and I'll pick it, like if it was like a washcloth or something, you know,
right,
and I'll be like,
pencil or something, yeah.
I couldn't know if I could try to do a pencil.
Oh, you could do a pencil, dude. That's easy.
Oh, I do rocks in the lake. I like to I'll feel a rock and pick it up and then be like, oh no, I don't like that one. And I have, just the other day on my a chair that I always take with me to the lake, and in the back it's kind of like a net on the back of it, so you can put stuff in there. And I was like, oh look, all these rocks. And there was like these rocks I collect because I pick them up with my feet on the bottom of the lake, and like I'll be like, oh. I don't like that one, or I already have that one, and then like there was a rock one time and it was a heart.
Oh
yeah. So anyways, yeah, like I don't know if that also, like I love walking barefoot, like even not just in the house, but like all like now because it's getting warmer and I can go outside in the garden. I work in the garden. If I could mow the yard, which I have done before, but people are like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, okay, like mow the yard in your bare feet. I just don't want to
do that.
I don't want to get sliced up, but if my foot was going to get underneath the lawnmower, I don't know, my shoe's not really going to save me anyway, but it probably will help, and you know, and I know my toe would slice off, but I stopped doing that. I used to mow my yard barefoot because I just thought, why the fuck not? But now, I don't know, but because I'm an adult. I'm an adult now. We should wear shoes. We should be safe. I don't put my foot underneath the lawnmower, but freak accidents. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Never know.
Yeah.
Never know. Exactly.
Oh, we did have to edit out some.
We have got to edit out a couple minutes, but yeah. So
yeah.
So
that's us and our
that's
witchcraft.
Exactly.
We're witches.
It's the reason that we have or that we practice the craft. Yeah. And I actually wanted to get into a little bit more about how it's helped us heal, but we kind of went on about all the other things, which are also important. So yeah, maybe next episode.
We'll just do the next episode because this episode can lead into the next episode of witchcraft and helping us heal from childhood trauma, how it helped us anyway.
Right.
And it's not going to be for everybody,
right?
Just like religion isn't for everybody,
exactly.
Or certain things. I mean, I'm not sitting here like, yeah, go out there and be a witch now. But
right. But everybody light a candle. No.
Don't forget to say your intentions. But what did we do back in the day? We lit candles and we set our intentions.
Exactly.
What do you do in a church?
Exactly.
You light a candle and say a prayer. Apples, oranges. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like isn't it like 6, 7?
Yeah, exactly.
No, like
so when we go on vacation and there's a big Catholic or if a Protestant church, whatever. I like to go inside because I like the architecture. I'm really drawn to Gothic architecture. I love anything with gargoyles, right? And the old churches they have like the most beautiful gargoyles. So I like to go inside. I like to look at the church. And every church that we've ever been in, my husband laughs because I always light a candle, right? And I don't care. They want like 50 cents or €1, whatever, for the candle. I'm good. I'll pay for that. I don't go to the church anyways, but whatever.
I'm gonna bring my own candle next time.
I'll be like, here's my tea candle. It's a black one. No. But I always light it and then I say a little something and I send it to the universe and I'm good. And so one time my mom was with us. And we went into a church and I lit the candle as I always do, right? He was smirking because he knew what the deal was. My mom was like, "Oh, hi, mija," like you're lighting a candle in the church, and I was like, "Man, if you only knew, dude." I was like, "I'm not getting into that with you." So I don't even think I explained to her what it was.
Just let her think.
Yeah, I just let her think her thing. I think we were in the. Oh, we were in the church in Trier. like the original
Trier?
in Trier, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that like the original Catholic Church, and supposedly the Shroud of Christ is stored
Ah,
there with
I've
the
been there. Yeah,
nails,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so I was like, yeah, you just keep thinking whatever you
Yeah.
want to think, right?
Just let her
So yeah,
stay in
just
her
let her
belief
think
that you
what
were
it
lighting
is.
it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'll be going to confession now, and yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so
So, thanks for listening.
thanks for listening. As usual, comment, like, follow. We appreciate it. All our social media will be in the link in the description box. And until next episode, bye.
Catch ya. Bye.